morning, everybody.
Oh,
Wildcat
we're missing
Nation.
somebody.
Well, we've been missing him for a while anyway.
Hang on.
Hey, there. Peekaboo.
Hi, Tom. Hang on. I can fix this.
Not
I
creepy
can
at all.
fix this. There you go. Now you can move back to your own personal space.
Hey. Welcome back, Tom.
Hey, but
Tom's
watch
back.
watch
Whoop,
this.
whoop. What's happening?
Oh,
Camera one, camera two.
Camera one, camera
one,
two.
I
camera
don't know if
two.
I like that angle with my hair.
Apparently, our closed captioning has been covering up the Resource Center logo, so we're going to move
Oh
it.
no,
that is an issue.
We're going to move that right up there.
Forget about that.
Get that out of the way.
Thank you,
And,
Resource
yeah.
Center.
Thank you, Resource Center.
Yeah. And Bruce.
And Bruce.
And Beth.
And Sportsland.
Hey Beth,
Pickup covers.
we're
and-
loving the cooler temps too, Beth.
Yes.
Oh, Beth, I'm with you.
It was like the call of the wild this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, I wish I was out in the woods right now
Yeah.
hunting the elusive whitetail.
I got to go, guys. Seriously. Oh, I did that last week, didn't I?
yeah.
Oh yeah, Shayna, how's the car? Is everything okay?
We had to replace the battery.
Oh yeah. That's
So
annoying. Those
you know.
batteries have gotten expensive too, and kind of hard to find sometimes.
Nothing that 2 hours of my day couldn't handle. You know. So.
Hey, if anybody is looking for a new, fun, and exciting second career, there are openings for substitute teachers at Rogersville schools
Indeed. And bus drivers.
and bus drivers.
And everything.
So at the upper elementary this morning, the principal, Dr. Laura Batson, will be teaching a classroom class, as will my wife, who's not been a classroom teacher for 5 years, will be teaching fourth grade. Because
Good morning, Julie.
they
Good
do not
morning.
have any substitutes.
And this is after I believe they hired full-time subs
There-
for
there-
each building.
There is a full-time sub at the upper, and he's got a class, and the principal's working a class, and Shelby's teaching a class because she's normally math intervention. And actually, it's a little bit of a. She was actually really sad about it, and not because she had to teach a classroom class, although that might have been a little bit of it, but she'd actually made significant progress with one of her students. And was really looking forward to working with that student again today,
Darn it.
and won't get to.
See, we
This stuff
forget
is
that these
disruptive.
teachers actually care about these kids a lot.
They
a lot.
do
A lot.
Well, and you and I have the same experience, which is your wife comes home and will tell you about these kids and
Their
what they
heart for
did
them
and how
Yep.
they just are so excited. And my
Yes.
wife has taught for 25 years and
still gets excited about
still
the
comes home and
success
is like,
stories.
they
Yes.
made progress.
Yep.
And it's really cool.
It is really cool.
But they do desperately need substitutes so they can stay in there.
Yeah, and
'Cause
so
they're-
we have two issues there, right? We've got a worker shortage,
Mhm.
right, and then we're growing as a community.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and then, I mean, I think this is all kind of these COVID regulations. If this person was near that person who saw this other guy sneeze, then the whole class has
I was
to
about to say sneeze in my mind. That's
has
funny you
to
said that.
quarantine.
Right.
And then if that quarantine happens to be the class that's the daycare for the teachers, then
then
all
you
the
gotta-
teachers now can't
That's
send
an
their
issue.
kids, and they don't have daycare. They have to stay
Correct.
home. And
The
it's-
other issue too is because I actually looked into being a substitute last year, and the paperwork that you have to fill out to be a substitute teacher is
It's extensive.
it's extensive.
well,
And I'm glad
Yeah.
they're not just letting
I'm glad,
anybody in
but
with
is
our
that
kids.
there's
But
a
it's
there's
another
a
barrier.
balance? Yeah,
well,
there's
but
a balance.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Just to be a substitute teacher, Tom, I don't think it's that bad. But
It was pretty bad.
but
It was pretty bad.
but what's happened is somehow PenMac has gotten involved.
Yes.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
you have
There you
to get employed by PenMac
As a
and
temp.
as a temp,
Gotcha.
and I get that it takes a lot of the pressure off of our the secretaries and the office staff that works that, but it does not seem to be effective.
It's another layer.
It's
It's
an-
a barrier.
Yeah, it's a barrier.
It's called bureaucracy.
It's a barrier. And Dr. Sean Randalls will be speaking today.
That's what I was
at
gonna say, at the chamber.
Rogersville Chamber.
I'm going to go to that today to hear Dr. Randall.
so we can rapid fire these questions at Sean.
Well, and I know,
no.
a
Dr.
lot
Randall's,
of,
Lauren Brooke from K-ROG. I have a question.
And
Well,
let me
and-
say, I would not want to be in his
No.
position,
And he's
any school board or school administrative
Yeah.
position, because I know to a degree they have their hands tied. But I know a lot of people want to know at what point do they start ignoring the health department and saying, look, here's how we're going to handle contact.
Yeah.
Let's send a note home to a parent. There might have been a close contact situation with a COVID student. we want to make you aware. You might want to keep your kid away from those at a high risk.
Monitor them.
Monitor them.
Yeah.
If they begin showing symptoms, then please keep them at
Well,
home.
and I don't know what authority the school district has to ignore the health department.
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't
I don't know the
either.
pecking order and all of that.
I do know that there's differences between CDC saying 3 feet
Yeah.
and Greene County Health Department saying 6 feet.
Right. And
So-
Webster County saying something yet again different.
Right. And so
Yeah.
at what point do you go, hey, we have 3 agencies over us. We're
Mhm.
going to go with the
Right.
least intrusive.
Right.
Anyway,
That meme that floats around about the full stadium and then the kids in masks.
Yeah.
well,
like,
it's
that's
everybody
a,
sees the
that's
hypocrisy.
a visual
Yeah.
aid of destruction. It's
Yep.
come on.
Well, Dr.
man.
Randall's is going to be on the Friday show this week too. He's going to come in and be our guest, and
Excellent.
we're this Friday show we're rocking it
You have
because
2 guests?
this Friday is
Okay.
Dr. Randall's. Next Friday is State Senator Eric Burleson,
Oh, nice.
who's running
Eric's
for.
fun to talk to.
Yeah, he is
He's
a great guy. I spent
great guy.
Yeah.
about 20 minutes with him on the phone last night about unrelated issues. I'm like, you should come do my show. He's like, love to do your show.
That's cool.
So he's going to come in and talk with Cassie and I on Friday.
There you
next
Uh,
week.
I'd like to nominate Cassie for most likely to succeed as a new K-ROG person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
She's great.
Good job,
She's
Cassie.
delightful to watch.
She's very bubbly.
So hey Tom, where you been, bud? What you been doing?
I've been
I forgot to turn our studio lights on. Chris got that.
Actually, the natural light coming through the
That's
window.
true. We're doing good.
I've been making movies. I've been making a lot of movies.
I was like,
lately.
shut up and let me talk.
Leave it to Will to think of something else to talk about besides him.
Tell us about your movie, Tom.
Which one, Will?
Oh my goodness. Take your pick.
I did so. Well, I had my premiere for the film that I worked on last year,
looked really
so it
cool.
finally came out, and I'd worked on kind of finishing up that film. So I helped with the edit and all that good stuff. So that was coming out, and then I got work on 1, 2, 3 films. So I got like within a week period, I wound up getting all these phone calls to be
That's
in all these
awesome.
films.
That's so cool.
Went in and started working on those, and it was like rapid fire. One wrapped. I went into the next one, wrapped. Went into the next one, and then I got another phone call to be in another film. So I was like in 4 films.
That's exciting.
In this course of the last 3 weeks. So
I'm anxious to find out when I can watch The Land of Milk and Honey.
so I think what they're gonna do, they had the initial premiere, which Chris and Shayna got to come see it, which
Ooh,
that
that's
was
awesome.
super nervous.
And that was come on. And yeah, so there's irony in that statement. It was funny. So I was sad to leave last week because I had to go, help Shayna with a car battery because I wanted to talk about it, and I know you guys talked about it a
I
little bit.
want to talk about it. Yeah.
But it was phenomenal. I was sitting there. I had no idea because we hadn't talked. We talked a little bit about it, but I forgot what genre it was, what had gone on. So just hearing the interviews from the actors was really interesting to know that it was kind of like 2020 shut down their acting lessons and they said, hey, let's just do a film during this time. We're kind of stuck at home, and then that kind of blew up and then it grew from there, and it was really good.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
excited.
It was fantastic. And so Tom plays the role of a dad who's struggling with PTSD, and
Yep.
it was heavy.
Yeah.
I
It
felt
was-
like it was going to be heavy based off of conversations we
Yeah.
had back when you were making it.
It was dark. It was heavy, and yet it
It
was
was not fun to watch.
But
Not
it was-
for me. I mean, especially for me, it was not
It'd be
fun to
weird.
watch
It'd be
because I
weird.
saw
Yeah.
you see kind of you being a bad person on screen, and then you're like,
That would be strange.
yeah.
I already thought of you as a bad person, so it's easy for me. But no, I'm just kidding. how did
The Calvinist is coming out the pastor.
Yeah.
Total depravity.
I already knew you had a depraved heart. and
Total
mind.
depravity.
No, I'm just kidding. How did Michelle take it? How was that for her watching you?
She definitely because I mean, I won't lie, I've struggled with the same problem. Just anger issues and fear.
Brother, I've been there.
And being scared of things, and that's typically, some people get scared and they go in the corner, but for me, I get scared and I fight, and that's kind of you have to work at that, and so over the years, there were definitely parts of it that Michelle, I think, watched and she was like, ooh,
That was you.
I've seen
That
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 come
wasn't
out.
there's a
sometimes.
wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to the degree of the film,
Sure.
because the
Sure.
film takes some dramatic license and it goes a little further than what I think.
The writer's original experience
Right.
with PTSD.
Right.
Right. He wrote from a place of personal experience
Oh, that's
while it
interesting.
didn't necessarily manifest itself in that
Right.
way.
Yeah, and so there were moments of that, but you can definitely see like parts of you pop out. And Michelle, afterwards, I asked her, I was like, "So what'd you think?" And she's like, "Well, it wasn't like comfortable to watch, but she goes, you did really good at it,
Yeah.
you know." So it
Yeah.
was like, I
That's
guess mission accomplished. But
Those that's the thing though, because when you watch those characters that make you uncomfortable while you're watching, you're like, that person's doing a really good job because I'm very comfortable
Yeah.
right now.
Right. Well, and
Well,
when it
that's
feels
awesome.
when it feels real, and it was really well done. I thought all the child actors, these teenagers, these kids, did a phenomenal job. And I was kind of picturing as I watched it, you being a mentor to them throughout. And I know they had, Jenna, is that the
Jonna,
Sorry.
Jonna.
I know she's a big part of that too, but I knew you were probably helping and coaching and putting your arm around them like, hey, we got this, let's go.
Yeah, and
Because I know you. I know your
have
personality.
you have to be careful, like when you do a part like that that's scary for the kids,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when you have a lot of kids on set. You have to be careful not to be like that when you're not in the scene. You have to be very much like,
Remember to smile.
hey, you make sure that the kids look at you as like as a mentor, somebody
Yeah.
that can help them through some of this stuff, because you don't want them to be uncomfortable. You don't want acting to be a traumatic experience,
Right.
Yep.
And so that was like probably the more nuanced approach that you had to take on it, because it was heavy,
Yeah,
Yep.
and those scenes were not fun to do.
I'm sure.
Those were one of the
I wanna
ones where
watch
I
it.
was telling you, like, all of a sudden they go, okay, we're doing this scene, which is like the dinner scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this.
I got to
now.
go from angry to happy.
right. Yeah.
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 I want to watch it though.
It was good. It was phenomenal. And
Love you
it's,
too, Julie.
yeah, the irony that I was talking about was so when 2020 hit and, we didn't know and everybody shut everything down. So we were shut down at church for a short period of time, but we went to filming before we went live stream. We were filming my sermons on Thursday and broadcasting them on Sunday. And so I would have to sit there and preach to Tom in a camera lens. And something about that was harder than any preaching assignment I'd ever done before. And he's coaching me through it like, hey, perfection's the enemy of done. And
Right.
it's better than you think. We just got to
Yeah.
push through and do it. And so to walk into the theater Saturday night and to watch him be nervous about me watching him now was like, this is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was just checking your star meter score on IMDb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I moved up.
Will
Did
was
ya?
stalking
I
you
moved
on
up.
the
Did you
on
catch
the-
me
on the
yet?
interweb.
Huh?
Did you catch me
What's
yet?
yours
On
at?
your
I don't remember. Do you remember when we did the Kix's
Oh,
podcast?
yeah.
And then you checked it and you're like, dang it.
Yeah. I moved up 1 million.
Sweet.
I
Well, you're
moved up
definitely
1 million
That's
in the
cool.
last.
I have no idea what rating that is, but that sounds awesome.
Well, I was like at 1,500,000, and
yeah.
now I'm at 500,000.
It's like
so I
most-
moved up 1 million.
It's like most popular stars on IMDb.
Nice.
The Internet
So
Movie
it's your
Database.
IMDb profiles.
Yes.
Big
Yep.
time.
Yep.
He'll be in Hollywood.
And I
before long.
had one. I didn't even
Probably.
know I had it from years ago from when I did the Mystery Hour with
Yeah.
Jeff Houghton, and they put all
he's
that on
my
You had a 5-minute
He's my
appearance on
neighbor now.
Mystery Hour.
I did.
Jeff is?
Jeff Houghton.
In your office
at my
in Springfield.
office.
Like,
Oh,
there's
he's
no
my-
way he
he's
moved
my-
out to
yeah.
the
I was like,
States.
there's no way.
Yeah, he's way too city for that.
I don't see them being in Portland.
But I'm updating our IMDb profiles to include the Morning Waffle.
I know. I
good,
saw him
good.
in
I
there,
need
and I'm
yours.
like,
Really?
I need some points.
I'm like,
Haven't
what
done
the
it
crap
yet.
is Will doing? Is he just being a jerk right now? I'm like, no, he's actually doing it's related.
And I actually had 2
I'm
premieres.
multitasking.
So we had another film that I had done in January that came out, but I was filming the other stuff and I couldn't go to the premiere. So I've had
That's
a
big.
ton of junk come out.
That's
lately,
awesome,
really.
though. Congratulations.
It's
Because I mean,
fun.
It's good, man.
Tom was one of those jobs, careers that really shut down during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the work just kind of was gone, and we did not experience that. So I mean, Tom's got an influx of
Yeah, it's
of work now, which is
it
great.
backlogged and now it's all coming
Yeah.
forward.
It's awesome.
Well, you know what we've noticed is we're watching different TV shows and stuff. So like we watch NCIS, and all of these series that are having to deal with a 12 to 16-month gap in production. And so like NCIS basically went back in time a year and said all this stuff was happening while that other stuff was happening that you watched in the last season.
Oh, wow.
And it's really weird, but we're like, why did they do that? And we're like, well, they don't want to have they want to deal with the gap, but they don't want to have all their actors in masks.
Right.
Because even though they're filming when they don't have to have masks, if it's the time frame when you should have had masks, the virtue signal is that they have to have the mask. And so like Last Man Standing did a jump forward to when the pandemic is over in this nebulous sort of
over?
It's over now.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
That show is over.
I didn't realize that.
The show is over.
I meant the pandemic.
But they just went to a unspecified date in the future that was after the pandemic, and that's how they dealt
Last Man
with.
Standing was still on. It's a pretty fun show.
Yeah, it is, and they just wrapped up their season finale last spring. I think we watched the end of that, and it died on a whimper. I will admit that it was a great show, but
just kind of net.
Well, once they switched to the new studio, Fox, it wasn't as good, and primarily I think it's because they lost that dark-headed gal, Molly Ephraim, that played the middle daughter. She was delightful. And they brought in that new gal who
just
played the character very differently. The Molly Ephraim character played a smart girl that acted
dumb. She acted dumb.
And the new actress played the girl as if she was dumb, and it was a totally different character, and it was not nearly as engaging. Well,
but
for whatever that's worth,
that is, I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, to me, I didn't even think about that because to me, in the television and movie stuff, they just ignore that the pandemic is happening. Because I mean, it's not like their reality
it's Hollywood.
is the same as this reality.
They can't ignore the political ramifications.
Yes, that's true.
And it's like, well, you gotta wear, because they did. There for a while, there were some shows that everybody's wearing masks and doing all that stuff. You're like,
but
like,
I do want to talk about Saturday. Saturday was. It was awesome.
It was so much fun.
I was so sad not to be out there.
Oh, well, and I totally understand that because, I mean, there's that that was cool. It was neat. It was a neat event that I'm hoping we can grow to a huge event for Rogersville. So Saturday was the Farm and Harvest Festival out at the park, and I need to give a big kudos to Lori Pace with the Chamber because so 2 months ago, the committee on that, which was me from Friends of the Park and Lori with the Chamber and several of the Chamber, like Jennifer and Carrie and other people from the Chamber, Brian and Corey with the City of Rogersville met and were like, can we even pull this off? Do we even have the resources to pull off a fall festival? Do we have the time to pull off a fall festival? And we were about to axe the whole idea. And then Jason with LRFFA is like, we can do it. And we're like, if FFA is going to do it, we're going to do it. Camera 2. So
Camera 2, right
look
there.
at that.
Where do I look?
This festival almost did not happen. I mean, I was pretty negative Nancy about it because I'm like, guys, I don't know if I have time. But Lori, I'm like, Friends of the Park can do what we can do, which is handle the vendors. And Lori took this idea and ran with it. And she put together the coolest combination of, things you could do. There was the petting zoo, the Creedstown people, and Jason Farley's a professional rodeo clown, and Jenny, they had their petting zoo out there, and he did performances. Evolution Arts and Athletics did performances. There was singing and clogging, and
there was clogging?
There was stinking clogging.
No, I'm mad. I missed it.
And it was, let's see, it's Henderson that had the...
Yeah, Henderson Baptist Church.
Or Baptist Church.
Henderson Baptist Church set up a dadgum forge.
Yeah, Bill
we
Green.
had them come out here. Yeah, Bill Green loves it.
And
made Tommy Hawks.
Tommy Hawks.
Yeah.
And birdhouses.
Love it.
And
they had an kids archery range.
It was the fun, and maybe I'm biased here. It was the funnest fall festival I've ever been to because there was stuff to do. It wasn't just like craft booths and it wasn't just, food stuff. It was a combination of food, booths, and activities.
Fun for all ages.
So congratulations to
Don't
Lori.
be dissing on the food stuff too hard there.
Oh, yeah. So
how'd the meat sampling go?
was there too.
We ran out.
There was a steady line
we had
over
a
there.
steady line of people coming.
That's cool.
But,
I always loved going to fall festivals when I was a kid.
fun.
It was just like one of the funnest
It's the
times.
best. Even though it was 90 degrees.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah,
it really was.
It was so nice. The breeze was cool. But yeah, you guys set up for Valley.
Valley Mountain Quality Meats, and we gave away their sliders so people could know that we have the best meat in Southwest Missouri right here in Rogersville.
Right there.
It's
You don't
fantastic.
have to leave town.
You don't even have to leave town. It's so good.
We had tri-tip and hot dogs and brats on Friday night. They were all delicious.
I had people texting me after that. And they're like, those sliders were amazing. And I'm like, what'd you put on them? Like, literally nothing. We just cooked the meat, put them on a halved hot dog bun was what we served them on.
Fancy.
And that was it. And the reason they were awesome is because that's what it is when you get good meat.
It was really good.
And you don't overcook it. That's the other side.
Yes.
Don't cook it to death. I mean, it was a wonderful event, and we really appreciate City of Rogersville jumping on. Corey did a great job. She had lots of her park kids out there working. We really appreciate it. And it worked out awesome that they got to unveil the park project and the walking
It looked so
trail.
good. I just saw the pictures, but it looked amazing.
Gosh.
I know you,
Did you
had to
cry,
have had a lot
Lauren?
of joy.
I
in that.
got to walk it the day before, and I, no joke about, started crying because and when I saw a kid running easily across the mulch as opposed to walking in quicksand gravel, that was
avoiding a
that was
3
like
foot
the
tall
moment
concrete
where,
barrier.
Yeah, where I'm like, we freaking did it.
It looked
Yes!
so nice.
And people just automatically use the walking trail like a walking trail, and the mulch isn't getting up on it. And there's a couple things with water that they got to work on, but that's any project. You got to figure out how it's going to work. But holy crap, guys! And so thank you to I want to say Chris Carter, Amanda Larson, and Jeanette Bass, because they're my friends of the park buddies, and Angie Jones back in the day was part of it too. You guys, we did something really cool, and we brought that idea to the city, and they ran with it, and then picked up the bulk of the cost. So thank you. It's cool.
All the people, I mean, think of all the different projects you've done to raise money throughout the years. And so this was the culmination of years and lots of events and lots of participation by the community.
This money is the community's money. This money came from Rogersville.
We did it.
We did it. And then we bulked the money and then presented the plan, and then that's what made it happen. And Keith Snyder with Snyder Unlimited was the contractor, and they knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was awesome.
Speaking of knocked out of the park, good one. Speaking of money, Rogersville money, how's our Purple Dinosaur fundraiser?
It's at about $1,000.
Okay.
Halfway.
And so I'm thinking we need to get the project done, and then we need to start looking at the park project completely completed, and then we need to start looking at options on to buy. I think we'll find one. It's probably not going to be exactly the same because that dinosaur was
Classic.
Well, we can't.
Some years old,
I don't think we ought to try to replace the purple dinosaur. It's legend now.
It's legend.
So it's if we get another purple dinosaur,
Maybe
it's
we
always
can
going
get
to
a
be a
plaque and
lesser.
put it on a tree.
Yeah,
you know,
in
loving memory of the purple dinosaur.
Because any purple dinosaur you try to replace it with is going to be a lesser dinosaur.
It's a lesser dino.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that. But the main goal at this point is to get some toddler equipment, because that's really what that was. And we just don't have any other than the, swings that are designed for toddlers. So, and I got to thank Chad worked so we could keep our metal slide, City Administrator Chad Bybee, and he did some modifications to it, or our insurance wasn't going to continue to cover the beloved metal slide.
Because what's a childhood if your butt's not burning?
Yeah.
Going
Oh,
down.
it'll still burn your butt.
None of this plastic stuff.
It's just now you can't really fall off the top. So
if you can't do like,
let's get rid of all of our childhood lessons, right?
It's no wonder.
I mean, who broke their face open on a teeter-totter?
Yeah.
I did.
Right there.
Right
Yeah. Here.
who's been flung off of a merry-go-round?
Yeah.
Where are those things?
Yeah.
Bring those
Barfed.
things back.
Who barfed
puked?
after
Yeah.
every day on a
Who's puked?
merry-go-round? Do you remember the thing too? You grabbed and like swung around like it was like
It's a maypole.
Maypole, yeah.
Yeah.
Who didn't kick their friend in the head on a maypole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get trapped
Or
in
get
the
their
maypole.
arm
Or you fall
lodged
off
in
and
the
you get
chains.
trapped under the maypole and you can't get out because everybody's whipping.
And we liked it that way.
Hey, I want to bring up something really quick because I don't know if people realize it. I sent you a picture. This is the actor that I worked with in Rogersville. He was in Rogersville.
Dun,
Robert
dun,
Picardo.
dun.
Robert Picardo.
Wow.
That's a
And,
look, man. That's a serious look.
And he was here. So Roger Jared, Brian Jared's brother, we filmed out at his house. And we did a bunch of green screen stuff. This is all going to be used in some computer. It's going to have, the graphics and all that kind of stuff put in afterwards. But Robert Picardo plays the bad guy in this film.
It's exciting.
And so that was one of the cool things that I got to work on, but that happened in Rogersville.
That's neat.
Yeah. Did he become, I know him from, did he become famous from Star Trek Voyager?
No, he actually became famous from the movie The Howling. That's how he became famous. So The Howling, The Howling and American Werewolf in London came out at the same time. And there were two special effects makeup artists that were kind of in the running that year for creature transformation from, and everybody remembers like in American Werewolf in London where his hands spreading and all that kind of stuff. Well, The Howling had kind of the same effect, but it was a little bit different. And Robert Picardo played the werewolf that was going through the transformation.
Interesting.
And that's where he kind of got started at. He actually got started in Broadway in a show with Jack Lemmon.
Oh, I love Jack Lemmon.
And Robbie Benson took his part for the TV or the film. And so it was... I got to hang out and talk with Robert Picardo.
Did you take that picture?
I took that photo. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Did you have a selfie with him?
I didn't do selfies. Well, no, wait, I did get a couple.
Wait,
I didn't want to be like that person
but
on
you can
set.
help yourself.
Yeah.
But I did. So Robert Picardo played the cowboy in Inner Space. Have you ever seen that movie, Inner Space?
Long time ago. Dennis.
Yeah.
Quaid?
Dennis Quaid and Martin Short.
Yeah.
And Dennis Quaid miniaturizes and goes inside Martin Short.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the cowboy is like this arms dealer. And Robert Picardo played the cowboy. And my brother and I, growing up, we used to quote the cowboy.
That's awesome.
So I brought my cowboy hat to set, and Robert Picardo signed my cowboy hat.
That's
so
nice.
I did get that.
That's cool.
So that was the deep dive of Robert Picardo. But we had another actor, Samuel Hunt, which he was in he's been in a bunch of TV shows. He was in Chicago PD.
Mm-hmm.
He was on there for like 4 seasons, and then he was also in a recent faith-based film called Unbroken.
Oh yeah.
So he was one of the actually it's the
movie.
sequel, but he was the lead actor in it.
Maybe Rogersville will become one of those like destination filming places.
It could
Like
because
Georgia?
it's
We have a
super
beautiful
cheap.
area.
Yeah, but
Georgia does get a lot of films.
That was kind of the
That's
neat,
really cool.
the neat thing of getting to work with some of these like super professional actors that have been doing it for a long time and get to hear all their
stinking
stories.
cool.
I want to go ahead and form the Rogersville Film Association.
Yeah,
Done.
let's do that.
Oh, I made a film last night.
Will's already got the LLC. It's done.
Done.
I made a film last night that's going to premiere. I'll drop it
hope
here
your girls
in
are the
an
stars.
hour.
I got the preview. It's awesome. Love it.
Anything
it's-
with your girls in it, I'm
Oh,
in on.
it's pretty
I want
good.
to watch that.
I made a film about Spooktacular.
Film by Lauren Brooks.
The
Oh,
event
speaking
coming
of.
Spectacular's
up
coming up.
on Saturday at Tenderheart Animal Clinic, and it's pretty awesome. So they're having an event there. There's a pet costume contest, and you can bring your dog or cat or lizard dressed in a costume, and you'll get a free picture. And
I'm just imagining trying to dress my cat in anything. It's not gonna happen.
and that's from 1 to 4 on Saturday. They're gonna have a bounce house, treat bags, and like a drawing, and it's gonna be fun. And they're also gonna accept hygiene items for the Wildcat Closet, which we appreciate that a lot because we're in need of those right now. So you're gonna want to you're gonna want to watch my movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna drop that
Today?
here in
Hey,
a
Will,
little-
drop it
Will,
today?
Yeah.
you should dress up your cat as Aunt Edna's. Not Aunt Edna. Oh gosh, Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Not Aunt Edna.
Yeah,
That's
I-
in the first vacation. Bethany. Aunt Bethany's.
Aunt Bethany.
Yeah.
Clark.
Just put her in a a gift package.
Cat box.
Just put a box. You're welcome.
You wouldn't even need the cat. Because I'm pretty sure he did that whole scene without a cat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell. God, I love him. So
He's so funny.
yeah, it's going to be a hoot. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. Like I said, it's 1 to 4 out at Tenderheart, and they're going to it's going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, pets in costumes, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
I watched a 12-minute video yesterday of cats attacking toddlers. It was hilarious.
Well, I was going to say, perfect for a vet clinic. I mean, injuries are bound to happen.
On-site. Oh man! And they've worked really hard on this event, so I'm excited for them. It's gonna be a great thing for Rogersville on Saturday, and the weather looks wonderful.
Oh,
so,
it does. This is gonna be like cool and sunny.
Oh, it's gonna be real nice.
Yeah,
Clark.
high around 70. Love
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, my film will premiere
a film by Lauren
later today.
The premiere.
I'm sure Tom worked really hard on your editing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was editing. That happened.
No
editing.
It was, we got to do this once and do it right, or it's not happening.
One take wonder.
That's it. That's good stuff.
Oh man.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I don't know.
I did. I wasted 12 minutes watching a YouTube video of cats attacking toddlers, but it was hilarious because these like little toddlers are just walking down the hall. And this cat comes out of nowhere, grabs and takes them out.
Oh yeah.
It's
And why do people own these animals? This is what I don't get.
Cats are great.
We have a funny
because they do that. That's
Oh,
They do
why.
funny stuff. We have a fun neighborhood cat, and Jesse was out in the backyard the other day, and the cat starts walking in the garage, and Jesse's like, "Nobody," and picks it up and sets it outside. And Jesse says, as he closes the garage, the cat's just like, "You've ruined my life. Like, why
They're
can I come in your house?"
They're awful creatures. They're just
They're
awful.
fun.
We went over to Barry and Dr. Kim's house on Sunday night, and we were just some of the folks from Tenderheart were there. They were cutting or making jack-o'-lanterns and stuff, and so we were sitting around afterwards, and they have a little kitten that they adopted. I think it came from the clinic. A cute little cat, and Michelle is a cat person, like through and through. I mean, she's an animal person just in general. Like they just kind of gravitate to her. But Michelle's sitting there. We're all talking, and Michelle's holding this little cat, and the cat is just gnawing her fingers. And we're all watching the cat gnaw Michelle's fingers, and Michelle's just sitting there, and she just keeps talking and doesn't even phase her.
Next thing you know,
And they're
she's
like, Michelle, that
bleeding,
cat's
half of her
biting you. And she's like,
fingers
oh, it's not that
gone.
bad.
Oh,
Like,
hey.
I would chuck that cat.
Oh, we need the photo of the flowers.
She won that
Holy
like
moly.
2 months ago.
Oh my gosh. Let me put it on my list of things to do today.
Thing to do list. It's happening. Sorry, Beth.
I need to go pick it up. It's already printed. I just haven't picked it up.
Oh man.
You've been a little busy.
I've been a little
That's
busy.
what they-
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Beth.
Well, it's fall break from OTC, so no class last night.
Right, because it wasn't Columbus Day.
Does it? Yeah.
So there was a debate
Indigenous
going
Peoples
on.
Day?
There was a debate going on about Columbus yesterday.
It was a
and
bank holiday.
Somebody goes, "Listen, none of us were alive. We didn't know him. Let's not have a fight on Facebook about what he did."
If you want to add Indigenous Peoples Day, I don't care. But what I didn't like were the posts formerly known as Columbus Day. I don't think you get to do that.
So I am not a scholar of Columbus. I don't know. I have not deeply. Here's my whole thought on this whole thing, and it's not just a Columbus deal. These holidays were made a long time ago with information that people had at that time
By less sensitive people.
and it wasn't designed to celebrate the person
No,
necessarily.
it's designed to get a day off work.
It was designed to get a day off work.
Stop it.
So
Just enjoy your day.
that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. It's not like on Columbus Day I paused what I was doing and celebrated Columbus. I don't even frankly give a crap.
Well,
It's
but
just-
here's one thing to remember. And
what?
this is one thing about Columbus that I think a lot of people kind of gloss over. So back in that time, there was a huge portion of the genetic pool that had been separated, right? So there was a lot of people that lived over here, and they were separated from the people that lived in Europe.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Columbus is single-handedly responsible for coming and bringing and unifying culture together.
He brought
It's an interesting
diversity.
Whether he did it
I see what you just did.
Columbus
there.
brought diversity
Yeah.
to America.
whether
We should be
whether he did it
on purpose.
good or
Yeah,
bad or
yeah.
whatever, he still served
He
a purpose
was the
within the
guy,
process
yeah.
of the whole our history.
Yep.
And
I think-
like
yeah.
it or not, that's what he did. And I think that should be what we celebrate, is because it's like the Indians took the land that they have,
Native Americans.
Native Americans, they took the
Indigenous
land
peoples.
Indigenous peoples.
They took the land from another set of Indians as well too. So that's been happening
what
for a long
everybody's
time.
done forever.
Yeah,
So you can be as sensitive as you want
There's
to about it, but you can't deny that.
Nothing left to celebrate if every person has to meet your idealistic viewpoint
that
of
didn't
what
exist at the
Right.
time that they did it.
right.
Yeah, I think what we need
exactly.
to understand until about the 1950s, basically the way this world worked was if you wanted that, you went and kicked their tail and took it.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And that's what everybody did. It's not like the indigenous people were sitting over here holding hands, weaving baskets, and not having wars.
No.
They were fighting with each other and combating and all the same stuff. It's just some people from Europe came over and were a little better at it.
and had better tools.
We had
for it.
guns.
Yeah.
I think if you try to villainize everything that was messy in history, you will villainize everything
Total
because
depravity.
life.
Well,
is
you're
messy.
predisposing a 21st century morality on people that were.
And
chronological snobbery.
Yeah.
It
that
is.
was such a different world because everyday life was so much about survival on what you were going to eat. If a skin infection was going to make you die, if you were going to have a bear rip your face off, like it was a whole, every day was a survival.
Yep.
We are not in an everyday survival mode, and therefore we are a hopefully gentler society. That's kind of this goal.
We don't
but-
murder people with guns anymore. We just murder their character. We assassinate their
Yeah.
character when we decide we don't like something about
Well,
them.
if you're in Chicago and those certain places, you murder people with guns.
Well,
Well,
yeah, that's not
right.
very, and
I
those
think-
people are in survival mode.
I think
right
the
now.
other thing too is when you had to wake up every day with the idea that somebody could ride up to your house and like mow you down
Yeah.
with a gun or
and
whatever,
nobody was going to do a darn thing about it.
you didn't sit and worry about necessarily the little piddly things that we worry about now.
Yeah.
I think as humans, we just have to worry
like
about
what
stuff.
gender you're going to be
Right,
today.
exactly. Like that would be the
Or
least.
Facebook
That would be the
went down
least
for a
of your
day.
worries. Then
People accomplish way more in 30 or 40 or 50 years because that's all they had.
right?
Yeah.
Than we do, because we sit here on these things, and
I mean, it was just a
Waste
totally
their
different life, and
Well,
and you just can't, you can't take modern information and put it on top of that. It doesn't work.
Well, the big lie, though, is that somebody's not going to ride up to your house and mow you and your family down.
They can.
That still happens.
Oh yeah.
People still kidnap people and put them in cages and do really bad
But
things
we've-
to
We're
them.
not
we've
gonna
somehow
talk about it.
we've somehow decided that's not wrong anymore, and this other stuff is wrong.
right.
It's morally wrong.
Yeah, some of it is, some of it isn't. But
But no,
I digress.
That is, it's an
Yeah.
interesting point, Will, because there's this false sense of
there's a false sense of
safety
security.
and
Yeah.
security that is not. And I mean, you're a lawyer. My dad was a lawyer, and so he talked a lot about the terrible things that can happen to you because that's what he saw.
Mhm.
And you got to be realistic about that because Facebook or whatever, your Instagram post might seem like a big deal, but you can still bad things happen.
I mean, I spent the first half of my career in the criminal justice system, and I can tell you my attitude having young children, I'm talking 6 and under, in a public place, and the way I would conduct myself with those was very different than my wife's or anybody else's around. I mean,
Yep.
if I didn't have physical contact with the kids, I was not comfortable.
Yep.
I wanted to have physical contact with them.
I mean, you're holding their hand.
I want to
You're making
be
sure they're
yeah,
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to have a hold of them the whole time, or this is not okay.
Oh, I can't let my kids go off and play. I am not there yet.
Well,
I'm not
and-
even close.
And I applaud you, Lauren, because it happens like that.
Yep.
That kids get snatched, and they do it all the time. It happens all the time, and the media doesn't really report that.
Nope.
And I don't know why, but
Justin works for
you go ahead.
Ozarks Correctional Facility
in
I'll let you
Fordland.
do it.
in Fordland.
Yeah.
you got to click that one.
Yep.
Right.
Just
Oh,
says,
there.
come on out to prison. Hear the stories of people being
Yep.
mowed down. I mean, there's a lot of
Yep.
monsters in this world, and you got to make smart decisions. And
Yeah.
and let's not pretend that Columbus is the monster we have to worry about.
And not just in Dallas County, but
Oh,
everywhere.
jeez.
That's right.
There's another. We're not going to talk about that.
Speaking of,
Sorry.
did we coordinate today? Look at that.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did.
Oh!
Grays
not.
on the outside.
This is actually
Good work,
like
guys.
a navy blue. It's blue. It looks black.
I don't think that's
I don't-
navy
I don't-
blue.
It
Well,
was navy blue when I ordered
And this is a
it.
good time to
What I
thank.
ordered.
This is the time to thank the good people with K-ROG Wardrobe. You're doing a
If-
great job.
If the
with
lights
us.
were on,
Thank you so much.
That is funny. So,
Usually a test on if something's navy or black is to put it next. I guess there's a bluish tinge.
Remember, black is in Navy, so
That's true.
it's part
All
of it.
right. Can we be done with
We're
this now?
done. We've waffled. I'm waffled out.
All right. Tune in. Lauren's got a show.
My movie's coming.
Movie's coming out. We got Dr. Randall's going to be on the show Friday morning. And
Spooktacular.
Spooktacular.
Sports all-
Spooktacular.
Sports all weekend. Chain Gang Sunday. We'll see you guys later.
Legends of Rogersville. We need to talk about that at some point.
Really? I don't know what that is.
Not today.